What is up, guys? Stark here. I am back for day 22 of the 25 Days of Fate, and in today's video I am going to be ranking all 40 of the servants for 2021. So yeah, 2021 will give us 40 brand new servants coming to Fate Grand Order, and I'm going to be ranking them. Now, this isn't a rank based on how good the character is per se. This is a rank in like the priority or like the ranking of like how much I want that servant or how much I'm projecting myself to use that character when I do get that character next year. So I have 4 different tiers. I have the absolute must-have. These are the servants that I definitely want to get 2021, like no questions asked. I'll spend money, I'll keep going, you know, to a certain extent anyway, but my plan is to leave that banner with getting that character and really not worry about the consequences at all. The next tier is going to be going to try for. These are characters that I want to pull for going into the banners, but maybe if it gets a little bit too deep into wallet, I might decide to back out before it gets too bad for me. So they're characters that I definitely want to get, but they're characters that I could live without if, you know, push comes to shove and I just, you know, have an unlucky day. The next tier is, if I get them, cool. This is basically going to be for characters that I have, you know, mild interest in, but I'm not really going to pull for them, and if I happen to get them in the year, then, you know, cool. If not, I'm not really going to be worried about it. And then finally, we have the final tier, which is going to have no interest whatsoever. These are the characters that I really don't care about at all, and the only real reason why I'd even want them is just so I could have them in the character log. I'll probably never use those characters, and they're characters that I'm really not going to care about at all, and probably won't even pull for them in the banners when they come out. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and get started here. We're going to go in order of the character ID, so basically the order that they're going to come out in 2021. I'm not really going to talk about them too much in depth. I'll just give you my reasons why I think that character belongs in which tier and go from there. So starting off, we are going to go with Benny Emma, who is going to be the New Year's servant and is going to be a Saber. In my opinion, she's a really unique Saber. She has some skills that, you know, no other character has. So it's really cool. She has, you know, a lot of debuffs and buffs for her entire team. She could do some pretty good damage as well. And she is definitely going to be the first character I pull for in the year. And I'm going to move her up to the going to try for tier. She's definitely a character that I want to get, but just because of when she comes out, you know, being the other New Year's banners that comes out and the banner that comes out after her, if I go too far into it and I don't get her, then I'm not going to be too upset, and I'll try for her later on. But she is definitely a character that I am hoping to get in 2021. So next up on the list, we have Old Man Lee, and he comes out right after Benny Emma, and I feel the same about Old Man Lee as I do for Benny Emma, as he's a character that I definitely want to get, and he'll be a character that I pull for, but he's not necessarily a character that I feel like I must have. However, the reason why I'm going to put him in the absolute must-have tier is just because he is a story-locked character, and that's going to make me want to pull for him more than Benny Emma, because if I don't get him, then he's locked to the story banner, which is a banner that I'll never pull on. So I do want to make sure I get Old Man Lee, preferably his first go around, but if not, then I'll have to wait for him to come back on a rated up banner. And, you know, story-locked characters are always really tough to get, and I feel like the easiest way to get them is to pull for them on their initial banner. So hopefully I'll be able to get Lee and get it out of the way as soon as possible. After that, we do have a banner for Ilya's rerun, and on that there's going to be a new 4-star character, and that's going to be Miyu, who is going to be a caster, and she's definitely going to go up into the absolute must-have for me as well. So I have Ilya, I have Chloe, so I do have to get the third one in the group there and make my magical girls team, so I do need to go ahead and pull for Miyu. Next up, we have Murasaki, who is going to come out as the 2021 Valentine's Day servant, and the more I think about it, the less interested I am in pulling for Murasaki, especially on her debut banner. When I look at it, like, I'm more interested in pulling for Drake than I am Murasaki, and, you know, just depending on how the first 3 banners in the year go for, since I'm going to pull for all of them, If I get wrecked pretty hard, then Murasaki is not even going to be someone that I'm going to look at, and I'll just skip it and then maybe go back for when she's rated up with Kintoki. But either way, when I think about it, like, am I really going to use Murasaki at all, even if I pull her? And the answer is no. So I'm going to go ahead and move her over here into the if I get them cool tier. Because realistically speaking, you know, I'm probably never going to use her. Like, I pulled for Semiramis last year, and I've yet to put her on my team. So I gotta be a little bit smarter with 2021. There's a ton of servants coming out in the game that are really good. So I have to, you know, make sure I'm spending my money on servants that I'm actually going to be using, and not just servants that are going to be sitting in my box. Next up after that, we have King Protea, who is another character who falls into the similar situation as Murasaki, where I have plenty of other alter egos in my box, and I really don't like King Protea at all, honestly. I might pull for her on the banner because I want to get Tristan, but as for her herself, like, you know, I'm not a big fan of Sakura to begin with, so, you know, having a Sakura face character really doesn't do anything for me. So I am going to move her also into the, if I get them cool, I won't be disappointed if I don't get King Protea in 2021, or if I ever get her for that matter. So it's not really going to be something I'm going to lose sleep over, and it's definitely not a banner that I'm going to really throw money at. Next up, we have Kama, who is going to be a 5-star assassin. In my opinion, she is probably, I don't know if I'll say she's the best assassin in the game, but she's definitely the most fun to use for me, in my opinion. Her kit's very, very good, and when I use her, I do have her on JP, and every time I use her on JP, she seems to just do like a ton of damage. So it's definitely something that I do want to get on NA, and that's why she's going to go straight up here into the absolute must-have. And so far, she's definitely going to be the servant that I absolutely want the most so far in 2021. Although there might be another character or two later on in the year that will eclipse my want for Kama. Next up, we have Rhines, who is going to be a 5-star rider. Now, I did get her in my GSR for my JP account. Haven't really used her too much on JP, but, you know, she is a character that I like strictly because of the anime adaptation. And, you know, I do need a few more riders, so it wouldn't be a bad addition to my box. So I'm going to move her up here to the going to try for, but if I don't get her, I'm not going to be terribly disappointed. And then next up, we have Astraya, who is the 4-star in the Rhines banner, and she's actually going to be a ruler. Now, this is a really good opportunity for a lot of people to get rulers, but with the addition of the ruler Quetzalcoatl, which is coming out in the Christmas event that's running right now, you know, a lot of people really aren't going to have a need for another ruler. And I believe, no, I don't have all of them. I don't have Shiro, but there's really not a big need for me to pull for Astraya, and I really don't like her character at all. So if I get them, cool. I think that's pretty fair for right now. And then next up, we have Gray, who is going to be the 4-star assassin welfare character in the Rhines event. So yeah, obviously she's going to be a character that I'm going to easily get. Not really a character that I perceive myself using too much, especially if I do pull for Kama and get Kama earlier on in the year. She's basically going to dominate my 2021 as far as assassins go, and I really don't see any much of a need for Gray. However, Gray is a pretty cool character, so I will also put them in the, if I get them, cool, but obviously I'm going to get them because she's an event character. So the next batch of servants we're going to be looking at is going to be for the Lost Belt 4 Part 1 banner, and the 5-star in that is going to be a Moon Cancer, Janako. And for me, personally, I already have BB, so I don't need a Moon Cancer, and I really don't like this character at all. And quite frankly, if I never get her, I'm really not going to really be all that upset about it. So I have no interest whatsoever in the elephant. And honestly speaking, this exactly goes the same way for the 4-star Saber in the banner, and I'm going to go ahead and put no interest for buy whatsoever. And honestly, might as well just go ahead and go 3 for 3 with Lost Belt 4 Part 1, because William Tell, although he looks like a pretty cool character and his fight is pretty difficult in the actual Lost Belt, once again, I have no interest in this character at all. He's a 3-star character, but he's not limited or story locked, so eventually I'll just get this character off friend points. But I really have no interest whatsoever in him at all. Next up, we have the Lost Belt for Part 2 banner, which is going to be featuring Arjuna Alter, who is the character that I want the most in 2021. He's the character that I use on pretty much every fight on JP, and hopefully I do roll. Well, I mean, I'm definitely going to try and do everything I can to get Arjuna Alter. He's a fantastic character. He's a fantastic farmer. If you get this character, you could pretty much use double Arjuna Alter and get at least until Lost Belt 4 with him just by spamming off his Null Phantasm, and overall just such a good character. I cannot wait to get Arjuna Alter onto my team. As for the 4-star in that batch, Ashwatthama, I'm probably still saying his name wrong, but no one's corrected me yet, so we're just going to keep saying it. He is a really cool character. He has an awesome character design in my opinion, and he is story locked, so he's going to go right up there with Arjuna Alter. I figure I'll get this character pretty easily when I'm pulling for Arjuna Alter, so I'm not too worried about it, but he is story locked and he is a really cool character, so I'm definitely going to do what I can to get him. And the same is also going to be said for the 3-star in that batch as Clevius. He is a story locked character as well, and he's a 3-star character, so no, you know what, I'm not going to put him in the absolute must-have. I'm going to drop him down a tier. I'm going to try for him. Strictly because, he is a story-locked character, but I'm never going to use him, so I just want to get him just so I can have him as a story-locked character, and so I don't have to worry about, trying to get him later on. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever find a need where I absolutely have to use this character. So we're going to drop him down a little bit there. Because if I don't pull him, if I pull Arjuna Alter and I don't get him, I'm not really going to go back into the banner to try and pull for him. Maybe I'll go for an extra copy of Arjuna Alter, but, I'm not going to be spending money to get this character at all. Next up, we do have the banner for Kagatora's event, and I might as well just go with her first, as she's the event character. Now, yeah, she's an event character, so I'm going to get her, but I do have a lot more interest in her than I do for Gray. So she's definitely going to be a character I want to get and level up, and she'll definitely be a character that I will actually use, if for nothing else, just to use her. But yeah, she's a pretty cool character in my opinion, so I do want to get my hands on her. As for the banner itself, Nobunaga is going to be the 5-star character, and she's an Avenger. And while I do have that, class filled on my box with Jalter, it's a Nobunaga character, and Nobunaga characters are really cool. I think Nobunaga is a really cool character in Fate, and I'm going to do what I can in order to get her. And as for the 3-star character for Mori, he's going to go right up here, and they're going to try for a little bit of a different situation with him, as he is a limited time servant as opposed to a story lock servant, but he does fall into the same criteria of I'm probably never going to use him. I'm just going to pull for him because he's limited time and make sure I get him. So yeah, that's where he stands for that. Next up, we do have Leonardo Da Vinci, who is going to be the anniversary unit for 2021. And while she is a pretty good character in my opinion, she definitely doesn't reach the highs as some of the other anniversary units had. So she doesn't make it into the absolute must-have. I do think Fate does a weird thing where they have one servant who's I have to have this character. So you went Merlin, and then you had Sherlock Holmes, who was a good character but not necessary to have, and then you're oh, it's Scotty. Scotty's an absolute must-have, and then we have Da Vinci, who's a good character but not really something that you absolutely have to have, and then next year it'll be Artoria, who is a 100% must-have character. So I expect for the 6th anniversary that we'll have just a okay character. But for now, we're talking about Da Vinci. She's a character I'm definitely going to pull for. But if I don't get her, I won't be terribly upset. And then with Da Vinci, she does bring out a whole bunch of 1- and 2-star characters that are going to be added into the Friend Point Summon, which is really cool in my opinion. However, most of them are really not worth it at all. I have zero interest in a lot of them, so we're just going to go ahead and drop them all here at once. So Jason, nope, don't care about Jason, or Paris, or Gareth for that matter. Bartholomew is actually, he has a decent skill set on his, on paper. So it'd be interesting to use for him. So I'm going to move him up actually to the, if I get them cool tier. Yeah, friend point summon, I'm going to get them easy. But again, that's not the only criteria for that. So I do think he's a decent character, and I might actually use him just to kind of mess around with his kit. We're going to skip Chen Gong here for a second, and if you know who he is, you know why I'm skipping him. And then for Charlotte, she can also, no interest in Charlotte whatsoever. And the same for Salome. She has an interesting skill kit, but it takes too long to trigger for her effects to go. I think she gives a 100% MP gauge to your entire team, but it takes 7 turns, I believe, in order to pull that off. So, yeah, really, that's too long. Anyway, they can just get in the bottom tier there. As for Chen Gong, of the entire batch, he is easily the best. In my opinion, he's going to be the one that's used the most, and he's an absolute must-have. For me, actually, he's going to go, like, right there. He's a really good character. He's like a reverse Arash in the fact that he'll wipe out the enemy team, but instead of killing himself, he'll kill one of your allies. So you'll be able to do some really crazy damage with him, honestly. I've seen some really cool videos of this guy doing some insane damage. So I'm going to try and grab him. He's in the friend point summon, so it's not like I'm not going to get him. But either way, he is definitely one of the characters I'm looking forward to the most in 2021, which is ironic because he's a 2-star character, but he's a really good character, and I'll definitely be using him a lot going forward. So next up we have the batch of summer characters, and of course there's 2 different batches as is tradition. As for the event character, Hokusai is a really cool character in my opinion, and they're one of the better event characters for this year and in general, and someone I really want. So we're going to go ahead and move them up to the going to try 4 tier because they're a character that I can see myself using, and they're, you know, Hokusai is awesome, so I just want to get them just because of that. As for the actual units, the first batch is going to have Musashi as a 5-star berserker, and I am going to move them up into the absolute must-have. Now, I don't think Musashi is an absolute must-have character, but for me personally, I'm going to make sure that I go ahead and pull for her. I guess I'll move her up. I don't know, like, yeah, better than Lee. Actually, Lee can go right there. Yeah, okay, so for me, Musashi's a must-have because I'm planning to pull for Artoria when she comes out next, or 2 years from now, and I want to combo them together, and she's an arts berserker, so, you know, I'm really interested to see how those 2 combo together. I'm pretty sure it's a good combination, but unless you're planning on doing that, like, you don't necessarily really need to do that, and I think you need, like, an MP2 Musashi anyway. So Musashi's a really cool character in my opinion, and she's really good for her own event, which makes sense, but for me, she's a must-have, but in general, I don't think she's a must-have character. Like, I think Arjuna is a must-have character. Like, I think everybody should be pulling for Arjuna, but Musashi is not, in my opinion. And they're both berserkers anyway, so if you had to pick one of them, definitely go for Arjuna. As for the rest of the batch, for Osaka Behime and Carmilla, I have no interest in either of them. The only reason why I'm going to pull for them is just because they're summer characters and they're on the same banner as Musashi. So, yeah, even if I get them, I'm not really going to be all that excited for them. As for the second batch of the summer units, we have Artoria Pendragon Ruler, who's going to be like a bunny. I think they call her like Bunny Artoria or Artoria Bunny or whatever it is. So she's a really good character as well, and I'm definitely going to try for her, but if I don't get her, I'm not going to be terribly disappointed. You know, maybe because she's a summer character, I might be a little sad, and I might try to spend a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, I'm really not going to be that upset if I don't get her. As for Mysterious Alter Ego A, it's Melt, so Melt's cool, but I'm not really partial to her one way or the other. I'm pretty neutral as far as that goes. And of the 3 characters on this batch, she's the one I want the least. But if I get her, you know, whatever, that's cool. I like her more than I like Osaka Behime and Carmilla, so she'll go up a little bit higher in the tier. As for Okita J Soji, she is a absolute must-have for me. She's an Okita character, and a character that I want to get my hands on at any cost, really. So while I'm pulling for Artoria Bunny, I'm going to make sure I get Soji at the end of the day. So maybe I'll end up getting all 3 of the characters because of that, but she's the one that I want the most. After that, we have Saber Wars 2, and that's going to feature the new 5-star Avenger Space Ishtar. And just because she is a Rin character, she goes right up top here as one of the characters that I absolutely must have, and I absolutely will get, regardless of what it costs. You know, her, Arjuna, and Kama, I think are, at this point, the 3 characters that I'm willing to, if you've been following my channel, we'll just say if I'm willing to do like Satonai or Mothman levels of spending in order to get. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but if it does come to that, I am willing to open the wallet for those 3 characters and pretty much do whatever it takes in order to get them. As for the 4-star character on the banner, Calamity Jane, I really don't care about her at all. I have no interest whatsoever. I'm going for Ishtar and Ishtar alone, and if I get her, whatever, but I really have no interest whatsoever. After that, we do have the new Christmas banner, and that is going to feature the new archer, Nightingale. Now, I don't think I'll ever use Nightingale too much, but she is voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro, so I am going to make sure I get them just because of that, because I need to get every character that is voiced by her, because she's my favorite voice actress, and that is reason enough. As for the 5-star in the batch, it's going to be Saber Astolfo, and they are a character that I do want to get, but if I don't get them, you know, I'll be disappointed, but I'm not going to go crazy chasing Astolfo, especially considering that Orion is right around the corner, right after Astolfo, and Orion is definitely a character that I must have. Definitely, he's the powerhouse archer. He can do a ton of damage. I must have this character. I must use Super Chad in order to do tons of damage, and I cannot wait until I get my hands on him. Unfortunately, it's almost a full year from this recording before he comes out, so I'll be waiting for a while, but when the time comes, I'll be ready, and I'll be pulling for Super Orion. As for the 3-star character in the batch, Man Ricardo, I have no interest in him whatsoever. He's not limited, he's a regular 3-star character, so he could just get in the bin there for that. As for the other 5-star character in the banner, Europa, really I have no interest in her either, so we're just going to put them in no interest, and we'll just leave it at that. So yeah, let's see, do I want to do any last minute changes to the tier list? So absolute must-haves: Arjuna Alter, Space Ishtar, Karna, or Kama rather, Chen Gong, Super Orion, Nobunaga, Musashi, Miyu, Lee, Ashwatthama, and Okita. Who's gonna go up there? Nope, that tier is set pretty good. Do we want to bring anyone up? Let's see. No, Benny Emma, no. Rhines, no. Da Vinci, no. Nope, no one's going up. And nope, we'll leave it the way it is. Yeah, I think that's pretty good the way it is. So yeah, guys, that's my tier list rank for the 2021 servants. So let me know in the comments down below which servants you guys are most looking forward to in 2021. Which ones are you guys gonna whale out for, and absolutely must have. And which servants do you disagree with on my list? Like which servants in the bin do you guys think maybe I was a little bit too harsh on? I don't know. Maybe those JP players out there know some sick combos for some of these characters that I'm unaware of. Let me know in the comments down below. But once again, remember that this is just my personal ranking for the priority I'm going to be giving the characters when they come out in the game. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord, so feel free to check those out, as well as the video for the 25 Days of Fate Christmas giveaway. There's still a couple more days before that happens, and if you guys haven't seen on Twitter or Discord, the official announcement was made where I'm going to be doing my live stream at 12 p.m. on Christmas Day, and I'll be doing the actual giveaway at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Christmas. So I'll be streaming for about an hour before I do the giveaway, just to give everyone a time to get in and say hi and all that stuff. So anyway, 1 p.m. Eastern, make sure you guys are there. You have to be in the chat at the time of the giveaway in order to be eligible for that. So definitely make sure you're in the chat to have a chance to win that $100 gift card. And for now, I'm going to say goodbye, but I will see you guys tomorrow for day 23 of the 25 Days of Fate.